Here we are at Tasso Works at Isle of Wight 2023 campsite, and we're going to do a remap on the Royal GP300 and fit an air sock to it, and when Adam gets a new exhaust, he'll send out the post. Do you have any of the pulleys here?
You've got what I call an E4 model.
This is the E4.
This is the E4. Straight away you can see just because it's got a silver casing, E5's a black casing.
Yes.
E5 had a lift in performance just from ECU remapping, resettings. That's all it is.
Right.
But otherwise, it's essentially the same engine.
Yeah.
This runs off. This is an engine based on the earlier Vespa engine, so pre-HPE, what they have out now.
Yeah.
You're about 22, something like that.
Yeah.
And the remap will lift it to about 28, 29.
So
But you know, this it's where the power comes. The sun comes in. You know, it's not going to like suddenly give you a 100-mile-an-hour scooter. You know, it's going to be very much.
I'll say more mid-range.
It's the usable power. It's the stuff you use to use. You're not going to be full open down the motorway all the time.
I'm not.
The stuff you want is that when you go to pull away, that lift, it gets rid of the dead spot, especially the E4 suffer from a little dead spot in the throttle range. It's almost like a flutter, like a, I don't know what it is, and it misses that out of the way as well. Limited tools. It's nicer working in the workshop that you're not on the floor, you know.
Yeah, stop on and around.
The problem with a lot of these airflow, right, on these, I'll not take the box apart, but I've got one. The air can only go, well, if I take the box cover off, you'll get a better understanding of it then. Just change that. So, here we go, inside your air box, this is what you've got. So you've got your air filter. In there.
Yeah.
Now the air has got to go through there. That's all that your scooter's breathing with. Just that little box, little square there.
That's crazy.
So it then goes through the air filter.
Yeah.
And then when this is connected in, it's got to go through there, then take a right angle. But this is actually out here somewhere, almost up against the cover.
So it's almost blocking it.
So it's got to go sort of up this little tube, through, through, and then in. It's just a crazy route, you know, and it doesn't help for airflow.
No.
If we can get rid of that, what we're going to do is trim this rubber band back. So even if you did go back to airbox, it's a good update anyway, because it means the flow is better.
Yeah.
HPE, which is the latest update from Vespa, that airflow has actually been changed. They've got an angle on it. It's funny that, isn't it? You just think, oh, hold on a second.
Something simple as that.
Something is
And does this one take the canister off? This canister? Or?
Yeah, we can take it off.
Yeah.
It's only a charcoal filter just to get rid of the emissions that come from the petrol tank. You know, just the smell.
Oh, right.
It's just, that's all it's doing. That's a breather from your petrol tank going through the carbon filter, which is, you know, this is just an overflow.
No, it's just overflows. Yeah.
This is just the breather to open the valve inside it. But other than that, it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So. So this is your air sock, made for us by Ram Air. And the idea is really simple. It's just a case of putting your sock. Like that.
Oh, nice.
Table tight. And that's it, you're on.
Brilliant.
And we'll just trim that off.
Nice and simple.
So the only one we need to do is just cable tie. So this is the only tube that comes off of the airbox. We just need to, instead if it's dropped down, you'll get some splatter come from it and it will just start dripping. So if we just keep it on an upright, what happens is if it gets any fumes and vapour, it can just roll back again.
Yeah.
So we're just going to cable tie this up. Now. Do it loosely for a second.
Right.
We want this removed, so we'll take this off. This is a little canister. So this is just a tube that goes all the way to the top of the petrol tank to let it breathe, so the fuel can drop down. Just going to fuse the two together, just to keep that out of the way as well. But now this is loose; it doesn't need to be tight. It just needs to allow it to just keep it neatly out of the way.
Yeah.
The two can breathe, and that's it. That's that out. You can get rid of this now.
Ah, lovely.
Now, if you want, you can take that bracket off.
Yeah, I'll do that later. Yes, sadly. Yeah.
That's that mechanically.
Nice.
Done with that. Next is just give it a remap, put some new settings on it.
Super. Is it talking to it?
Yeah, it's talking. So at the moment, it's just mapping the new file into it. So it's going to take about 7 minutes. So
brilliant, right.
This E4 models connect through K-line, which is a way to talk to the ECU through the D port.
Yeah.
The latest E5 models connect via campus, and that's minutes.
Yeah.
It's much quicker.
Yeah.
This one's about 7 minutes. It'll take
That's not too bad.
The thing is, the equipment's only just the ability to be able to put the file on. This isn't the file or getting to the file.
Right.
That's a lot of stuff in the background. Whilst I can put this on in 7 minutes, it's taken me about a month to create that file.
Right.
So that is putting a scooter identical to yours onto the ECU, onto the dyno, running it day after day, hour after hour. Keep tweaking the settings in different programs. You've got fueling tables and everything you have to deal with. And just keep modifying it until you're completely happy. And then once you're happy, then there's obviously the road testing and all the other stuff that comes after it.
Of course,
once you've got it and you've created your file, then it's you can put it on onto the module and then run it, and then just keep putting them on because you know what the outcome is. As long as you're using the parts that you designed in the first place.
Yeah, so it's constant.
So the airsoft, you know what the outcomes will be. The exhaust, you know what the outcomes will be. There'll be some slight changes in the engine, but nothing really. Everything's the same. The problem comes when you start mismatching parts that wasn't what you wrote the map for originally.
Someone on the map and they had say PM tuning exhaust. It's not going to be quite the same, is it?
It might not be the same. And then you'd also find that you would have different outcomes. The fueling might be different. Really, that's when you should set the map up directly on the dyno at the time for that scooter if you were doing it that way.
To get the exhaust as well.
exhaust on, it tends to lean up the system, as in it'll make it run that, you know, that little bit leaner, but the ECU will then compensate for it. Because we've deleted the lambda sensor, which is what's registering what's coming through the exhaust. It's running just the settings, the settings, which are what is what we've loaded into them, so it's running just off the tables, not running off the sensor. It's the sensor that's always pulling it back, you know. So I don't know what the outcomes will be on a standard exhaust. I've tried it on Scorpion and PM and the others, but this exhaust runs a chambered system, so it's not like other exhausts that are
more free flowing.
Yeah, free flowing. So with this, you'll come in, it'll go through a series of chambers and then out a tube. That's how they create it, they make it quieter, because chambers air is a good quietener deafener, so it'll hit these chambers as it's going through, but it's not very efficient in its airflow. That free flowing one that's just coming through, out, and then off. And what that does is, because it's getting out quicker, there's not enough fuel to come with it, so that's when it leans it. That's why you can't go and put an exhaust on and an air filter. It'll just run way too lean. And these are already set relatively lean for emissions, and usually the lean part is the first part of the throttle, because that's the bit where they're tested for type approval and that sort of stuff. I found on these though, they're very lean at the beginning and very too rich at the top. So when the settings were put in, they were actually brought back, not increased in some instances on the throttle range. It's weird because you think, well, the problem is too much fuel is a boggins issue. So what it means is it's got too much fuel that the engine can't burn off quickly enough.
Are they doing that to keep the engine cool in the high revs? Or?
It could be a little bit of that, but it's also it just holds it back, you know.